share with you another topic regarding boundaries. I love this topic because it talks a little bit about what is your actual responsibility and what is your obligation. And we've talked a little bit about boundaries a week and a half ago. I had a little bit of a pause with spring break and then traveling for a client. But this week, we want to talk a little bit more about boundaries. And last week, we talked about boundaries and why they're uncomfortable. I think a lot of people have shared with me, I know where I need boundaries. I don't know how to set them because it feels really uncomfortable and I feel guilty. So you end up not setting those boundaries. And so, how do we make boundaries clear and understand that they're going to be hard, but do it in a way that feels genuine to us? And maybe we have some alignment in our beliefs around them. I want you to think about your own life for a second. Think about where you're stretched thin, not just being busy, but things in life, work, schedule, kids' activities, parents, friendships, things that just kind of feel like they're stretching you too thin and you don't have the time. So if you're being honest with yourself, um, it's not always that there's too much to do. It's that you feel this internal pressure. They may not be things you want to do. So you may be feeling guilty, or you might feel like this sense of obligation. It should be like, I should help. I should handle this. I should make it easier for others. So this I should, right? I should always do this is where the problem really starts to get bigger for us. So if we were to start shifting our thinking a little bit and think about the difference between responsibility and obligation, think about the responsibilities as things that are your choice, your actions, your word, your time, and your energy. How do you stay in that lane? How do you make the commitment to that? And then there's obligation. So obligation again sounds like I should. I don't want to disappoint someone. It's just easier if I took care of it or if I just did it. I don't want this to turn into something. So you're maybe trying to avoid a conflict with somebody because you don't want it to turn into more. And what happens is that you start treating other people's emotions, reactions, and expectations as your own responsibility. But they're really not yours, right? Those are things that are an obligation that you might make yourself feel or others make you feel. So let's just take a real life example. Someone asks you to do something. You already know that your schedule is full. How many of us have done that? You already know the answer, the real honest answer is no, but your brain starts saying to you, they really need me. It's not that big of a deal. I can make it work. And then you say yes. And then later, you feel overwhelmed, you feel obligated, you feel frustrated and resentful. And that's that moment that I want you to work to avoid. So again, this isn't about time always. It's about this obligation that we make ourselves feel. And it's really not ours to carry, and we have to stop doing that. So I want you to think about, here's the part that matters most, is when you take other people's responsibility and make it your own, you slowly stop trusting yourself. And remember last month we talked a lot about trusting ourselves and how important that is. Because you're overriding your gut. You're overriding what your body and your mind is telling you is because um, you want to avoid the conflict. You want to please somebody else. You have set a set of obligation for yourself. And so clearly you're saying this is mine as well. And it's not, right? This is someone else's. It doesn't fit into that bucket of responsibility. So you can be kind without overextending, be supportive without taking on everyone else's things, care about someone without having to manage their emotions. You can let people feel disappointed. Now, the hard part is sometimes it makes us feel uncomfortable, and that's the hard part. But the longer that we do it and the more committed we are to ourselves, the healthier it becomes, and we start to set those positive, helpful boundaries for ourselves. And it doesn't have to mean something when we do it. So I want you to sit with this question. Where in your life are you taking responsibility for something that's not yours? And don't try to fix it, just notice it. I want you to just be in awareness of where it starts and where you feel it. So next time that you actually work to set those boundaries and you start to feel that things are getting a little loud in your head because you're taking on someone else's responsibility, try to work through how you want to change that commitment. Again, you don't have to take that action yet. but I want you to start noticing those things. And when you are ready to take action to setting those boundaries a little bit stronger, then talk to me. Use some of these things that we've talked about, some of these phrases that we've talked about to set those boundaries a little bit more healthy for yourself. So I hope this was super helpful. I actually, because of the way that the month worked out, I still have 2 more lives to get in before the end of the month. So I'm going to do one probably this weekend, and then one again early next week to close out March. And then super excited because we're working on what April looks like as well. So thanks for joining and have a great day.